You are listening to Chicagoland's finest podcast. The all-new Culture Cast begins now.
I'm the Gorehound.
I'm Thor.
And we are the all-new Culture Cast. What's going on, Thor?
Not a whole lot.
Enjoying the spring weather?
What's that?
Are you enjoying the spring weather?
Yeah, it's finally spring around here. That's exciting. I spent it by going indoors and finally seeing the Hellboy movie that came out like a month ago.
Oh, yeah. I saw that opening weekend. What were your initial thoughts?
I liked it. I don't know how I would have felt if I'd seen it when it first, when it came out a month ago. But after a month of people telling me it wasn't very good, I liked it a lot more than I thought I would. I
just thought it was like a lot of fun. Like I think we need just some demonic fun occasionally. Yeah. That's just demonic for the sake of being demonic, and with actually a good actor who you like. I like this guy.
Yeah. I didn't like it quite as much as like the best parts of the Golden Army, like that weird plant monster and the spoiler alert, like good twin and evil twin that form the main plot of that. But it didn't have anything as embarrassing as Hellboy and Ape Sapien getting drunk in the Golden Army and singing together. So there's that.
Yeah.
Overall, I'd put it about at the totally different species, but from just initial impressions, I'd put it at about the same. I liked it about as much as the original Guillermo del Toro movie because that one had the in the audience insert character to try and get you to understand what the hell was going on. So I like that this just sort of dropped you into everything. And I liked that this was a lot more horror oriented.
Yeah, and I just love seeing David Harbour. I mean, he's really impressive, and I'm looking forward to seeing what he's got coming up.
Yeah, and I liked how demonic they made him look as Hellboy. They definitely didn't tone down the features. They made the Ron Perlman Hellboy look a lot more sort of soft touch. They seemed to make him a little more pleasing to the eye versus this Hellboy really looked pretty fucking evil, which was cool. It made the contrast of him trying to be good.
Enough of Hellboy. What are we talking about today?
We are talking about the discography of one Weezer,
yes.
Right?
This is going to be a two-part, and this is more for my sake, and I appreciate you joining, but it's my New Year's resolution to become a Weezer fan. Before this year, I never really listened to Weezer, other than, radio stuff, and I was like, I was prompted, and I was like, you know what, I'm going to do it. And it's taken, 5 months to finally get it on the record. But I wanted to do one, beginning of the year, and then one at the end of the year after I've actually listened to it. But I'm doing what I can.
So have you listened to all of their albums?
Oh, yes. Yeah, quite a few times now.
So what I had listened, let me give a brief thing on my background. I fucking loved the Blue Album all throughout middle school.
Their first one.
Exactly. And then in high school, I think it was junior year of high school, I got Pinkerton, which had been out probably 4 years at that point, but it definitely was much less well known. And I think it hadn't even gone gold at that point. It took it forever to sell any fucking copies. So I had listened to that and really liked that as well. Actually,
would you say that it rose to fame like Blade Runner, where it sucked in theaters, but then it became a cult classic?
Yeah, I mean, I think it was just kind of it's weird because I think now it doesn't hold up as well, but I think all the emo music that came out after it, I think really helped buoy it because it, when you had Fall Out Boy and stuff who were able to put all these very emotional, raw lyrics out there and still have really heavy guitars. I think that was the thing about Pinkerton, was that it was just as, heavy of an album in terms of the, hard rock work, but then all the lyrics were, super like diary entry-esque.
Yeah.
And that stuff I think still holds up. The stuff that I think doesn't hold up in Pinkerton is this sort of predatory attitude toward young Asian women that comes across in the album.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is tough. Me and a friend of mine were talking about it the other day, and we said it's like the Kevin Spacey movie American Beauty, I think, came out around the same time, and they're both similar, where they think they're about a man that understands that it's bad to have sex with high school women, but is also weirdly enough a lot about how awesome that would be if he was allowed to.
Yeah. I don't think I that never came across. But I've never really,
I mean, that's
like,
straight up
listened
that
to the
song
lyrics.
Across the Sea is like, you are an 18-year-old girl in Japan, I'd never touch you. I think that would be wrong. Like, it's like,
Yeah.
that's straight up what that fucking song's about.
I see.
Yeah, and then there's hints of that throughout. Like, anytime he talks about goddamn, these half Japanese girls do it to me every time. It's very much women as objects,
Yeah. Okay. I could
Yeah,
see
but
that.
like I said, I mean, it is an album written by a young horny person, so I think that's why it spoke so much to me when I was a young horny person.
Yeah. Yeah. No. I got the impression that Pinkerton was their best album, or like most well respected. But I kind of get the impression that Blue was. Would you say that Blue was better than, or more well received than Pinkerton?
Blue was much better received at the time, and then I think for a while, especially once that Green album came out and sucked, at least
Yeah.
I thought it was pretty lackluster when they finally came back after 3 years. I think that was really where the myth of Pinkerton. I think in the like early 2000s there was really this, oh my god, Pinkerton's this undiscovered gem, and I think now, to me, I still really like it. But I feel, like I said, I feel like Blue holds up better. I think the songwriting is a little more universal. Like, I mean, Pinkerton leads off with a song about how tired he is of having sex with groupies. It's not a very relatable album, Like,
Right. Yeah. Oh yeah. So my origin is that I listened to like straight up just like new metal, like all throughout high school. Like that's been what I listened to, and so Weezer never really came across like anything. Like I would listen to it on the radio, but I never knew anything about it. But then there was this SNL skit about how there was two people arguing at a dinner party about the like one side. I didn't understand it because I was like, I don't know anything about these Weezer albums, but they're going back and forth comparing all these Weezer albums, and I was like, there's this universe behind, or like Weezer has developed this universe of all their albums being, very, very different than one another. And so I was like, I want to check it out. And I decided to become a Weezer fan. So
yeah, so it's interesting. See, I basically heard the Green album, didn't like it. I liked Maladroit a little more. That had, I thought, a couple of catchy songs, even if it still was him being very generic with the lyrics. I think there's a big difference between him being very universal but specific with the lyrics on the Blue album, like In My Garage and that kind of thing, versus, I feel like everything he's done since 2000 is just, like half the songs are just like, here's me talking about a girl that I like, and it just, none of it all feels so distanced from him. Like it feels like he's not willing to do anything at all introspective. So then that Make Believe album, other than I didn't like the Beverly Hills single, but I liked the rest of the album. Actually,
I'm finding that there's quite a few of these, like in particular Red album. Like I hate the Red album, but Pork and Beans is like 10 out of 10, and it's enough to like carry me through the entire album. And it's weird how it does that. That like you can have such like a polar contrast with that.
Yeah. So Red album, that's 2009, I think, right?
2005.
Shit, it was that recent? I thought so. It was.
Red album.
Yeah, Red album.
2008. Yeah.
So 2005 with Make Believe, that was probably like where I was like, oh, maybe they're getting better again, which is weird because I'm looking at like All Music, and their review of Make Believe is like their worst reviewed album on there.
Make Believe and Pacific Daydream. I have a difficult time listening to those on because I've listened to quite a few of these on repeat, and I'm like, I have a difficult time finding anything I like about Pacific Daydream or Make Believe, because I find these to be very radio friendly.
Yeah.
And it's with Pinkerton and Blue, I thought were like more like raw and more immature, and that's what I liked about it. And they've really evolved since then, and they are very, very good now. And I feel like they've really found their place, despite it being very different than Pinkerton and Blue.
Yeah. Now, it's funny me saying, oh, yeah, I did remember really liking Make Believe, because I'm looking back on the tracks from it, and We Are All on Drugs I didn't like, Beverly Hills I didn't like. Literally every other track, I can't remember how it goes, except for track 2, Perfect Situation. I did really like that song.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And all the radio hits, they really don't hold me over because they had such... they were so repeated on the radio, where I kind of just zone them out, and now I don't really give them the time of day because I'm like, I've heard this song like 10,000 times already.
Yeah. So once Red Album came out, I was like, oh my god, that cover art's so bad. This better be a pretty fucking good album to make up for this. And
I do love the cover art in such a bad way. And actually, I think that's what prompted my text message to you. I was like, I would love a mustache, but I don't think my work or the Graveyard Queen would be on board with that.
Really? Because I think Rivers Como single-handedly proves that like no one should ever grow a mustache. I think he looks awful with a mustache.
He does, but I'm an awful guy. I mean, I like Malort. It kind of just goes with it.
Okay, yeah, no, him on that cover, that is like the fucking Malort of album covers. So
right.
So I listened. I'd never listened to any of Weezer's stuff post 2005 until today, when I listened to all of it as research.
You just cruised through all of it.
Yes,
nice.
And so I listened to I think that's 6 albums, and I liked one song.
Yeah.
I mean, there were some songs that I was like, oh, this is going okay, and then we'd get to the chorus, and I'd be like, you blew it. Like some of them I liked the verses a lot, not the lyrics. I feel like he still is writing the most generic lyrics ever, but some of them the verses had a really catchy melody, and then you get to the chorus, and I'd be like, come on, guy. So the only one I really liked was The Greatest Man That Ever Lived, Variations on a Shaker Hymn, which is because it uses that fucking I forget which song it is now, but it uses that oh, 'tis a gift to be simple, 'tis a gift to be free. It uses the melody to that as the basis of the chorus. So I felt like that was a very interesting song.
You have a very good memory.
Yeah, it didn't quite come together for me, but I admired what they were trying to do.
Yeah.
And I felt like that was the last time, like, because I was excited when I saw that they had this like 3-part song at the end of Future Scope Technology at the end of Everything Will Be All Right in the End. I was like, oh, this should be cool. And then I was like, nah, it's just like 3 other regular songs just bleeding into each other.
Yeah.
Like, it was, yeah. So yeah, that's unfortunately where I stand, which
No,
I really did try and give them a shot. Like, I went into it being like, okay, I remember the single, what was it? It was either the single. Let me look this up. Whether it's a single from Hurley or a single from Ratitude.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. So it's the single from Hurley that has like them all as little children in the music video. I remember seeing that music video. I think it's oh no, excuse me. It is from Ratitude. I remember seeing that music video and being like, what the fuck happened to Weezer? Like, this seems like this seems like when Blink-182 wrote the song First Date. This seemed like their version of that. You know?
Yeah. So yeah, basically Ratitude, Hurley, Everything Will Be Alright, and then White Album, Pacific Daydream, I thought were very radio friendly. They were good albums. They just weren't they weren't what I liked in Pinkerton and Blue, because Pinkerton and Blue, as a metalhead, I liked them because they were good alternative, I guess alternative pop rock.
Yeah, well, they have very sophisticated guitar playing and guitar solos in them, and then I think at some point they just started being like, well, if we play our guitars fast, then we're still sounding like Weezer, and we don't actually have to put any intricacy in there, because that was
Yeah.
the problem I found on a lot of these later albums is that I'd be waiting and they'd have a guitar solo, but it was, I could almost like hear them fucking yawning while they were composing it.
Yeah. 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 So then their last two albums were released this year were Teal Album and Black Album.
Yeah, so is the Black Album out yet? I just listened to the single from that.
Yeah. Yeah.
What about riding in it or driving an Uber? Is that album actually out?
Yes. Yeah. And I've actually, it's in my car right now. So I've been listening to it, and it really doesn't do anything for me, because it's pretty much just very radio friendly. I put it on, I'm like, I don't care, and I know that because I rented this album from the library, and I also rented Post Malone, the white rapper.
Yeah.
And I enjoy. I was
Who-
thrilled with listening to Post Malone more than Weezer's Black Album.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I feel like you're plateauing right now, Weezer, with this.
Well, that's the weird thing is I feel like they just haven't, like, since they got back together in 2000, it's weird that they had basically like 3 years back in the 90s where they seem to be very consciously trying to create this rock about Rivers Cuomo, like, about his personal life, and adding real complicated fucking, just like, you listen to even just on Pinkerton on Get You, which is one of the more like straightforward songs, it still has like all that feedback, and it just, it has the fucking like sort of doo-wop style chorus members singing, which is still him. I mean, but it has that vocalization plus his vocalization, and then you listen to like I think it was on Hurley where I went through like 4 tracks in a row, and I was like, okay, he's singing it like the exact same fucking pace on all 3 of these songs. Like, you might as well just have all 3 of these be the same damn song. Like, it was, I think it was like Where's My Sex, Runaway, and Hang On, maybe. I'll have to check that again, but I remember just being like, what the fuck are you doing, man? Like,
Yeah.
So that's the tough. Sorry, I don't want to have this be me ragging on all their shit since 2000, but it is interesting how they're clearly very happy as a band because they put out 8 albums like this now, like...
Right, yeah, and it's like they must be doing something that's making them happy, and I feel like they are, because this I kind of am finding analogies to Deftones. Deftones is one of my favorite bands of all time, and I legitimately think that they are one of the best bands of all time. But I feel like they also have a similar progression where their first few albums were real raw, like they were like straight up nu metal. And then as they've evolved, throughout the years, because I think that they've been around for about as long, formed in the 90s and are still putting out stuff today. And the stuff that they're putting out today is very, very complex and very good, and nothing like what they started off with. Mm-hmm. But that's what they've been putting out for quite a few years now. Because it's like they finally like reached apex, and it may just be that I am more of a fan of this louder, heavier, more complex stuff that isn't radio friendly, and that's why I'm appreciating this. And I just simply don't appreciate it because their plateau was radio friendly.
Yeah. It's interesting. The only Deftones album I've listened to all the way through is 2003's Deftones, which I really like. What stage is that in their development? Was that when they were still pretty raw?
That's like right in the middle where they were going through some tough times, and they actually weren't very happy with each other. So they were going through like a lot of internal conflicts. And it's not a very respected album. So...
Well, that's the only one I've listened to.
Yeah, no. I mean, White Pony is straight up like one of their best earlier albums, and now like the past 3 albums I've like loved. So, yeah, I even not recently, but one of the last tattoo sessions, I got a white pony tattoo.
Oh, that's awesome.
So, but yeah, it's my point is that they have become what they must want to be, and I think it's just not what their original audience was for. Their original audience was, teens who like indie music, and they are not any bit indie now. I mean, their song "Island in the Sun" was the theme song to a Mary-Kate and Ashley Olsen movie. Yeah.
How, like, it wasn't written for that, but it was licensed for that because it fucking sounds like a thing that would be in a Mary-Kate and Ashley Olsen movie.
Yeah, and they were probably thrilled that happened, and it's good for them. I just think that
and my mistake, they've released 11 albums since 2001. So yeah, they really chug the fuck along. Like you said, it's something where I might be completely not getting them, but it's like 3 or 4 albums like this. Maybe they're just doing it for the money, but yeah, you're right. They must be like Rivers Cuomo must see there as being some merit to writing these very, like, I don't know if it's like a thought exercise for him, but they're just like the absolute like most generic distilled version of like pop rock possible, like.
And I guess moving to the next point, I don't know why, but I remember reading at least like 3 articles in the same week about, or it might have been podcasts about how Rivers Cuomo uses spreadsheets to write his music. And he's very methodical about making like the number of consonants and words in his lyrics, and sometimes they are just like formulaic, like I need this many words, this many consonants to form this song, and he kind of just like puts it all together. And sometimes I could see it because I'm not really listening to it for the lyrics, I'm listening to it as like a full album concept. But like sometimes I listen to the lyrics and I'm like, these make no sense. But like they sound great together, and I could easily see somebody doing that where if you treat like your voice as simply an instrument and not really care about the words that are coming out, it's like you could come up with some really great tunes, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, that's actually a good point, and that's probably something where I bash on them for having lyrics that are such generic subject matter now. That you're right that if he's as much as it's not my thing, if he doesn't see lyrics as being anything more than, like you said, something you can plug into a spreadsheet and just need to be, rhymes that, match, that is really interesting. I hadn't, I know, I was reading about how he does a lot of research into sort of pop music trends and that kind of stuff, which I think is another layer that feels very artificial about their new music, is it seems like he's, it's sort of the opposite of the way, like I would listen to the White Stripes, and it would seem like they had sort of taken, like, 70s hard rock influences and then very much moved it forward into their own thing. Like I remember hearing Dead Leaves in the Dirty Ground and thinking it must have been some cover of some song I hadn't heard from
which band is that?
70s. Dead Leaves in the Dirty Ground, the opening track off of White Blood Cells from the White Stripes.
Oh, okay.
And so it's something where I think that's what's Como is very happy just taking his knowledge of music and using it to, like you said, not innovate at all, but like I guess it sort of is innovative in and of itself, where if he's just sort of been polishing this same idea of what he thinks the perfect pop rock song sounds like over and over and over again for 18 years now. So I think you're right that it is, as much as I really struggled listening to these albums today and like I said, enjoyed one track out of whatever this is, 4 hours of music. It's, I think I can't just say like, all this stuff's just, mindless, meaningless pop rock, and he only wrote 2 good albums and then gave up. I think you're right.
It just moved away from our interest, and and he's exactly. So I think you're right. That's the difference. Is I sort of like that idea that he just he's kind of chasing like the perfect, like, I don't know, like I feel like he wishes he wrote like Sugar Sugar by the fucking Archies. I feel like that's like what his goal is now, is not, is not to write,
because that, or like the Monkees, like I'm a Believer. Like I feel like those are the kind of songs that like,
Yeah.
That his music is more akin to than anything from the first two albums.
Yeah. So you listened to all of them, including the Teal album, the covers only.
Oh, no, I'm sorry. I did not listen to the Teal album. I couldn't bring myself to listen to the covers album. I'd heard that fucking cover of Toto's Africa a million times, and it sounds exactly like Toto's Africa. And let me look it up. I heard one of the other covers off of it, and it just seems like a really weird exercise because they don't, since they are, when we go into this theory of them just being a band that tries to like shine off all the edges of their music to make it this more and more poppy sound. I feel like that's what they did. Like the other track I heard was
No Scrubs.
Yes, was No Scrubs.
Yeah.
And it was just the weirdest thing where it was, it's just achingly sincere,
Yeah. No, I think I'm in the minority here where I loved their version of Africa.
But it sounds exactly like the original. Like, what do you think about it makes it stand out?
I think it's better than the original. The original, because I've listened to them because me and the Graveyard Queen are regularly arguing about this because she's in your camp where she says it sounds exactly the same. They shouldn't have done it. It's they didn't innovate.
Well, they can do whatever they want. I just don't get, to me, like, so I haven't listened to their cover of Everybody Wants to Rule the World, but the greatest cover of Everybody Wants to Rule the World was already done by Lorde for that like third Hunger Games movie where she like slows it down and makes it ominous. And I feel like that's what you need to do if you're making a cover. Like weirdly enough, I like all of Everclear's shitty covers of stuff because they make every single one of their covers sound exactly like an Everclear song. Like they have a cover of Pocahontas by Neil Young that's literally with their same like eighth note plucking, and it's just like, this is the least appropriate thing ever. This song's about like Indians getting raped, but it somehow works because it's that's just what Everclear does, is they sing all their songs at that speed.
Yeah. No, but about Africa, I find that the original Toto song, I will give them credit, it is good, but Weezer makes it more epic. They amp it up more, not in volume, but just in energy. And Weezer is a band that I like. Toto is not. So I already have that affinity for the band, and then they do this awesome song, and it brings it up another level. Toto, I don't know anything about them other than they sing the song Africa. So Weezer kind of just adds these things on top of it. They add this energy, add a name behind it. And I watched the music video with Weird Al Yankovic, and I like it a lot, and I think they did a better job of it. Yes, it does sound very similar, but I've listened to this song on repeat many times, and I stand by it.
Well, no, and I get exactly what you're saying about it. It goes back to my idea that they're just perfecting pop music. So that's why this album is the logical conclusion, where they're taking the 80s, the most like artificial decade for pop music, and they're putting their own even higher sheen on already shiny, emotionless songs. Yeah. So I think you're valid to say that you think that they, like spruced this thing up. It just confuses me as to why we need Weezer just making a bunch of fucking sound-alikes. It's the
yeah. But as for the rest of the album, I think No Scrubs stands out because I think that they did add a new twist on it, because they really just put their Weezer twist on it. It's not hip hop in any way, and I thought that was fun. The rest of the album, I think, really sucks because a lot of them, they either sound just like the original and they don't really add anything to it. Or I didn't like the song in the first place. Like Billie Jean and Stand By Me, like that's a difficult two songs to get through to finish the album. Mm-hmm. So, but I do think it's a very unique album, and it's fun that they did put this out. in the same year that they released something else. So they didn't kind of just put all their eggs in one basket this year with this album. They also gave us the Black Album so that we have something else to hold on to.
Which does have fun cover art. I like them being completely covered in
right,
oil.
But
the cover.
it kind of irks me. Like, I know that the colors don't really... as far as I know, the colors have nothing to do with the content. But when I see black, I think black metal.
Yeah.
And there's like nothing black metal about this. Like, you could put any of these songs on the radio and nobody would know any difference. But the cover is like, you think it's dark or something, but no, it's pop rock, power pop, or electro pop, as per Wikipedia. So it's like, I don't know how they pick these colors, but I thought teal was such a good color for the covers album because, you know, you go from, you know, generic blue, green, red, white, and then teal. Teal is kind of like an off color. Not commonly recognized, and it's kind of an off album.
Yeah, well, and it made sense since that's so emblematic of like Miami Vice. The logo was pink and teal, so it makes sense for an '80s cover album too.
Yeah, I do love their look in the teal album. I can't get over just the way that Rivers is holding his sunglasses and just looking at you, and I'm like, it's so good.
So I as I said, I should have realized, but I didn't realize the Black Album was out in full. So the only track I've heard off of it is that single "Can't Knock the Hustle," which annoyed me to no end. It seemed like another totally generic lyrics, and the melody sounded a lot like their other 5 singles. I remember in terms of singles, the that Hurley album, the first track off of it, which I think was a single, is Memories, which they use on the end credits of Jackass 3.
Yeah.
And I remember like they're going through all these clips of like the folks from Jackass, some of which have known each other since high school, you know, and then I was like, what the hell's this song playing in the background? This song's not good. And then right as I was thinking that watching the movie in theaters, it cuts to like literally like Steve-O like singing in the booth with Weezer, and I was like, oh, it's a Weezer song. No wonder. Like, so I guess it when the shittiest part of Jackass 3 for me was the Weezer song, that's a bad sign.
Yeah, and I could see that. I don't recall it, but
And then I was reminded of it today because the music video for it straight up starts out with "I'm Johnny Knoxville and this is Jackass." Like,
I will have to check that out because I've been listening to a lot of their music videos. A lot of it has just been Pork and Beans, like every third video, because I cannot get enough of. I don't know. I don't think it's the music video because those viral videos really irk me.
Yeah, the music video for that's pretty insufferable.
But the song is just so good. I actually think that Pork and Beans might be my favorite Weezer song throughout all of them. Yeah, I can't get enough of it.
And it's cool having you come to them after they've released this many albums, because I think that gives... I'm glad we're having your perspective.
I love this universe.
I
love this universe that Weezer not only built but has like developed over time, because it's huge, and thankfully they don't have a whole lot of side projects, so I can like focus this. Like Rivers has like some acoustic versions, like Rivers at Home, and so it's easy to delve into this universe and analyze it within the course of a year, and be able to digest it.
Yeah, and I guess exactly like we were talking about, for me, I think it really will just be their 90s sound that I'll always be much more into, because I was listening to back when, you know, I still got my music through iTunes, you know, 19 years ago, I'd gotten that Weezer deluxe edition of the Blue Album that had a bunch of extra tracks, and I remember their song that was originally for the Mallrats soundtrack, Suzanne. It plays during the like wrap up portion of Mallrats.
Yeah.
And that song's fucking great. Like, it's something where I I think it definitely says a lot about this new stuff. Just as you said, just not being for me. That I like this total like cast off track. That's playing in the fucking Mallrats soundtrack more than any of their singles.
I will have to check that out.
Any of their post 2000 singles.
I actually think that I own that or have that album scanned, but because I've got a huge collection on my computer, and there's this one Weezer album that I think is Pinkerton, but I don't know because all of the songs are called Butterfly, and so it was classified weird, and some of them are live and some of them are demos. And I'm like, I don't know what is what, because I've tried to like match up like the timestamps and the lyrics, but I'm like, it just makes no sense. Mm-hmm. And so it's very frustrating. But I think I own that one because there's like a whole bunch of random shit in this album.
Yeah. Oh, another good one from the deluxe edition of the Blue Album is Jamie. I don't know what that was originally written for, but that's the track
I listened to that last night.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, so I was keeping the spreadsheet at work where I was just like ranking all these albums back to back, and I ended up losing the spreadsheet. But I was like, that's
oh no.
I was like, that's kind of a good thing, so I could like reevaluate where I think that they are. But I don't know because I don't really know that many other. I would you consider they're not an alternative rock band? They're a pop rock band.
So I would say the first two albums are alternative, but I would say they very much haven't done anything alternative sounding since nothing on the Green Album on is alternative. Even like I said, I thought there was some interesting shit on Make Believe, but even that's still interesting in that it's playing with the conventions of pop. I agree with you. They haven't been alternative since 1996.
Yeah. So I mean, they're pretty much a pop punk band, and
not even punk though. That's what's interesting.
Pop rock. Yes. Yeah. I mean, but I don't know. Like Blink-182, they're like Blink-182, right?
I mean, they're like what? Like I said, when Blink-182. I think the song "All the Small Things" was when I heard that on the radio, and I was like, "Yeah, Blink-182's done releasing anything vaguely punk sounding."
Yeah.
And so I think Blink-182 has like pretended that there's like they still classify themselves as pop punk, but I don't think Blink-182 has done anything punk related in 20 years either. So I would do similar. I think to me the only band that like stayed with its punk edge of these like sort of 90s superstars, because like same with like Green Day's done some interesting shit, but it's never like punk. I mean they're closer to they're closer to being fucking Stephen Sondheim these days than they are to being punk. So I think the only one that kept like a punk edge interesting enough was probably the ones who were the least punk to begin with. Like I would say the Offspring were sort of a hard rock band that got put into the punk category because there wasn't really like pop hard rock at the time,
Yeah.
And I think whether they were ever punk is one thing, but I think they very much kept their sound, which is interesting. Like their most recent album was or I think it's still their most recent album. The one of like just the two old men sitting there is interesting because the whole album's really, really slow mostly, but it's got that same sort of like. It's still very identifiable as Offspring, which I think is cool.
Yeah.
No,
I think I will check out some Offspring because I like being exposed to this this genre that isn't like surf, horror, punk, or death metal.
Yeah.
And so it brings me out, and sometimes like I just don't know what to look for because there's so much stuff out there, but I kind of need like some anchor, like Offspring. I know Offspring. Because 90s, they were great.
I'd say start with Smash by them from 1994. I think that's a good.
I will.
Good one to.
Yeah, because
get into them with.
The way that I've been listening to Weezer is I kind of just like go through like a few albums a week, and then like I'll take a break and then listen to a few more. They really. I think we said 13 albums total. So I've gone through them quite frequently, but some of after listening to some of them, like some of them I just can't like discern apart. You know, between like Ratitude or Hurley, and I'm like, I don't know which is which.
Yeah.
So, but maybe if I listen to them for like a week straight on repeat, I might be able to discern them. But they shouldn't be that similar. But it may just be my undiscerning ears.
Yeah, no, but I think that is fair. I think he's been sticking with a very similar sound for years now. I would say even when I was listening to all the ones today, there wasn't a lot on Ratitude that wouldn't have felt at home on the Green album, and that album was 8 years earlier. So it's just interesting to have a band that's had this very consistent pop sound. Like I can criticize them for being static, but he's clearly just, as we said, working toward, at some point he's gonna, and maybe that was his cover of Toto's Africa to him was just like the perfect fucking pop song.
Yeah.
Oh, and the Offspring album I was talking about, the one at the end of their career, which is 7 years old now at this point, Jesus, is Days Go By.
Okay.
That's the one I was talking about. That's a real slow burn.
Okay.
Yeah, no, they're an interesting band though. Offspring I only got into maybe 5 years ago because I'd always liked their singles, and a friend of mine was like, "No, you should listen to their albums." Ixnay on the Hombre was the one that was like a big hit in '97 as well. That was the one with
the 90s ones.
The one with Gone Away on it. Yeah. The one that probably has the songs you've heard on it is Americana. That's the one that has You Get a Job.
Oh, and, I think that's what
Pretty
every
Fly
90s
for a White
kid
Guy,
owns.
yeah. Exactly, yeah. So I'd say listen to the ones before that, but that one's probably their, kitschiest album,
Yeah. No, definitely.
So yeah, it's definitely... It's funny, too, also, because you look at Blink-182, and the lead singer of Blink-182 at this point has now thrown out every other member of that band.
Yeah.
He threw out the drummer back after Dude Ranch, and then he just threw out the UFO guy in the last couple of years. So Weezer, since, what is it, like 2003, has had the exact same fucking lineup.
Yeah, and I also did want to mention that the musicians have been the same since... What was that? Since 2002.
Since right before Maladroit.
Yeah, they've had the same lineup, and when you watch these videos, you can see how they're changing. But not changing, just like their physical appearance. Like the bassist has grown his hair out. The lead guitarist is like not getting older, but he's just becoming more unique looking. Because when you look at their first few music videos or like pictures, like they all just look like young guys, and they've all really evolved into like very unique personalities, which I really appreciate. And when you could see them look the same or like change throughout all these videos, it kind of adds a familial touch to them that really builds with them.
Well, and I think that was what they were trying to do with as much as I was making fun of the Red Album cover, was to try and show their different personalities, to not just have a cover that was the four of them standing looking identical,
Yeah.
Gosh,
I can't get over that in that one.
Yeah.
All right. Do you have a favorite Weezer song or album?
My favorite song is it's sort of an obvious choice, but El Scorcho from Pinkerton.
Yeah.
Yeah,
okay.
I really like that song. I like definitely the like emo kid in me in high school really identified with that line about like what is it? I wish I could get my head out of the sand because I think we'd make a good team. We'd keep my fingernails clean, but that's just a dream I can't realize because I can't even look in your eyes without shaking. Like it was just very like juvenile insecurity, which I had really identified with that.
Look at this guy. Knowing all lyrics.
And I think I still really identify with that. Is the thing. I think there's always times where you feel self-conscious and you feel like you're not cool enough to be in the situation you're in, and I think that's That's what that song reminds me of.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I think despite Red being like one of the worst albums, Pork and Beans is my favorite song. And I think Pinkerton is, at this point, is my favorite album. I just love the rawness of it and just how not clean it is.
Yeah, yeah.
And I can appreciate that.
Nice having all that feedback.
Yeah.
The
there's nothing within the past few years that I would willingly listen to if I wasn't already on this journey.
Yeah, exactly. And weirdly enough, I think actually my second favorite song of theirs might be Surf Wax America, which is...
That is a weird song, but it's very good. I keep on remembering it.
Yeah, it's got such a, like, it's one of their probably fastest paced songs, and it's just got a real pounding bass line that's great. And but what's interesting is when I talk about how I dislike a lot of, when I listen to their recent songs and the lyrics seem so him just writing completely distanced from himself. Surf Wax America is a total pastiche. I mean, Reserves Como isn't into fucking surfing.
Right.
So
and that's what does irk me about it, is because I listen to a lot of surf music and they like are explicit, like, this is a surf album. And I'm like, this is a surf song, but there's nothing to do with surf music in it.
Well, I think that's what I liked about it. It's just very, like, it doesn't, like, because to me it's always weird that, like, I like surf music, but it's always weird that surf music's so calm, because, like, being hit by waves is fucking intense. Like, I've never surfed, but I've, like, bodyboarded and boogie boarded, and, like, feeling like you're about to drown is scary shit, like, so
I don't like putting my life in danger. I'm not going to do it. I would love to sit on the beach, but never go surf. So
yeah, no, that's true.
So what else you got going on with Weezer?
The music video, as disappointed as I was with the Green Album, I did really like the music video for... which one was it? Was it Island in the Sun? They had one of them that, I'm gonna have to look this up. They had one of them that had the Muppets in it.
Oh, that's oh no.
I'm looking it up.
Yeah, because High in the Kite.
It was Keep Fishing.
Okay.
Which is not a good song by any means, but and it looks like that's actually not off of... I've got everything about this fact wrong.
Yeah.
Keep Fishing is both not off of the Green Album, and so that must be off of Maladroit. Track listing.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Dope Nose was the first single off of Maladroit. What a fucking shitty song, Jesus Christ. Because you already had Hash Pipe, which was just like... had like some nice guitar work, but was just so fucking stupid and just didn't seem like Rivers Como. And then he just like doubles down and he's like, "Oh, you guys think my fucking song about drugs was out of character? Here's another fucking song about drugs as my next sing, dickheads."
Yeah, and I got so sick of that song because it was so overplayed.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, I thought that was a lot catchier than Hash Pipe. It was more, and like, people can write songs about whatever they want. It was more just the fact that it seemed like he was just doing it to, like, troll people.
Yeah. And I forgot to mention that on the Black Album there is High as a Kite, which I do like. It's one of the few things that I like about that album that I can listen to pretty well.
I'll have to give that a try. So yeah, I was, as I said, I was pretty disappointed overall. I was hoping there was going to be some stuff in here that made me reevaluate them, but I did genuinely like that Greatest Man That Ever Lived song, track 2 off of the Red Album. So if nothing else, I'm glad I got to hear that. I would have never, ever heard that in my life if we hadn't covered this on this podcast. Yeah. And thank you for having me on, because it's such a... it was a band that I was fucking obsessed with for all of high school and just hadn't thought about in years. When the Africa cover was out, I just was kind of like, oh man, this is
what happened, Weezer?
Yeah, well, it was more, I was just thinking, like, man, if Weezer was getting this much coverage for literally anything when I was in high school, I would have been so happy,
Yeah. Yeah, so wrapping up, I am going to keep on listening to these albums on repeat for the rest of the year, and trying to reach out to any side project that I can find with Weezer, including any podcasts, because I know they were on Song Exploder, which I thought was really cool. I listened to that before I was listening to Weezer, and I'm just listening to everything that I can to become the born again Weezer fan. So, and hopefully at the end of the year we can get Nick's opinion. Nick said that he could not join, but he did listen to some YouTube vids, and for the record, he says, I asked him, "You listen to some Weezer though?" And he said, "Tried to. Not really my thing, but got nothing against it. You can quote me in the podcast." So he tried, with air quotes. Didn't even listen to a full album. But if it's not a podcast about a podcast, he's not going to listen to it. So
yeah.
So all right. We will catch back up with Weezer in about 6 months. So all right. This is closing out with the.
Wait, I have an important question. Can you name a single track off that White Album? That was the most like nothing of them to me.
Oh, absolutely nothing.
Yeah. All the other ones at least had some shit stand out for me, even if it was only me being like, "Oh, I can see what they're going for," or if I was like angry, like the fucking song. Oh, what is it off of Hurley? That's about like. One sec, I'm gonna look this up because it's gonna bother me otherwise. So. Yeah,
there's absolutely no bookmark in White Album.
Yeah.
Oh no! Thank God for Girls. That was a good one. That was a radio hit that I did like.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I'll what was that? What was it? Maybe it was off for Attitude. One second. There was this one track that like super stood out for me because it pissed me off. Oh yeah, The Girl Got Hot. That was that song made me so fucking angry. And I was like, okay, well, at least they have the ability to make me feel something.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, the White Album, like I might as well have just had the radio off. It was that generic.
No, what I think I might do is instead of listening to full albums, I might just rate individual songs and go from there. See, like, maybe
that'd be a good plan. I think they definitely have a lot of filler on these albums, unfortunately. So I think
maybe try to like do like their 5 worst songs and their 5 best ones.
Yeah.
So. All right, yeah, we'll see. So
The Girl Got Hot better be on their 5 worst songs.
Yes.
Thank you so much, man. This was really fun.
All right, closing out. This has been the all-new Culture Cast. I am the Gorehound.
I'm Thor.
And we will catch you next week.
You've been listening to the all-new Culture Cast, where every episode is all new. Check out new episodes and our back catalog at allnewculturecast.libsyn.com. We could also be found on iTunes. The All New Culture Cast, a Saltwater production, copyright 2019. Thanks for listening.